Hey there, viewers! We all have good and bad habits, but what if we told you your zodiac sign says a lot about your worst habits? Interesting, isn't it? In today's video, we'll talk about the 5 worst habits based on your zodiac sign. Is cursing the worst habit for an Aries? What are the other not-so-pleasant traits? Are Taurus too quick to say no to something? What other bad habits do Geminis have besides gossiping too much? We'll talk about all of these and more. Number 1. Aries, March 21st through April 19th. One of the worst habits for people under the Aries sign is swearing. You know, dropping curse words left, right, and center. While it may not be meant to be offensive, it's still something people may not want to hear. Apart from cursing, they also have a tendency to interrupt people who are talking when they have something to say. Another bad habit Aries people have is they act without thinking things through. Sometimes they even end up causing accidents because of their actions. Although it's not as bad as the others, one of the annoying habits Aries people sometimes have is fiddling with their hair. People under the Aries sign are quite obsessed with their hair. So much so they twirl and play around with it. Drinking too much coffee is another vice among Aries people. Are you an Aries? Do you see any of these flaws in yourself? Share your opinion with the bestie community in the comments below. Number 2. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. One of the annoying habits people under the Taurus sign have is saying no to something far too quickly. You lose out on amazing opportunities if you say no too soon. Another habit that Taurus people may want to get rid of is excessive shopping. It's important to make sure you're not going overboard and swiping away the balance on your credit card. When Taurus people are under stress, they tend to clench their jaws and grind their teeth. They're also quite rigid and set in their ways. They also have a hard time adjusting to change. In fact, they fear it so much, they try to avoid it as much as possible. Looking for answers on all the latest health and wellness news? Hit that subscribe button and join our millions of followers. Stay up to date on all of our great bestie content. Number 3. Gemini, May 21st through June 20th. One of the most annoying habits Gemini people have is they love to gossip. Since they gossip so much, they end up having a negative impact on their relationships. When not gossiping about other people, Gemini folks tend to be stuck on their phones. Granted, this is most people nowadays, but Gemini tend to have a specific problem with this issue. Geminis tend to zone out when other people are talking. Another annoying habit that Gemini people have is they seem to be scatterbrained most of the time. They do not have a sense of being on time. Gemini people also tend to get bored easily. Number 4. Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd. One of the things people under the Cancer sign tend to do is spend a lot of time in front of their television. They also lack self-awareness at times. While most people tend to vent out their frustrations, Cancers tend to take this to an extreme. When they're not venting, Cancers tend to hold things in. Whatever frustrations they may have in their daily lives, they don't deal with them properly. People under the Cancer sign can also be very sensitive. They tend to get attached to things that have outworn their use. This is usually a household item of some kind. Number 5. Leo, July 23rd to August 22nd. One of the worst habits Leo people have is a fear of change. People under the Leo sign also tend to overshare on social media. This can end up making Leos less productive. They end up spending too much time scrolling through their various apps and miss out on more important tasks. Another bad habit Leo people have is insecurity over how they look. People under the Leo sign also tend to get their feelings hurt far too easily. Also, Leos are ruled by the sun. They tend to spend too much time outdoors. Make sure you're wearing the proper sun protection. Number 6. Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. People under the Virgo sign tend to worry too much about things. They're perfectionists. This can often lead to procrastination, as they don't want to face their fear of failing head on. They worry about doing things so much. They end up not doing them at all. Another problem with their perfectionism is the negative self-talk they tend to give themselves. They'll end up beating themselves up too much even for the slightest mistake. Virgos also end up giving unsolicited advice. This goes along with their other annoying habit, the need to nitpick what others have done. They like things done in a specific way, which does not sit well with other people. Before we move ahead, here's something else you might like. Your birth month can reveal a lot about your personality. Interested in knowing more? Here, watch this video. Number 7. Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. Libra people like to name drop. They like being seen among cool and important people. This helps them look cool and important themselves. Another annoying habit with Libra people is they have a hard time saying no to things. They tend to overcommit, which results in them flaking out. There are also people pleasers who try to avoid conflict and go out of their way to do so. People under the Libra sign also tend to fall in love far too easily. Rather than the actual person, they fall in love with the idea of the person. This leads to heartache as you're often left disappointed. Number 8. Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. Scorpios are the most notorious when it comes to being stubborn. They're also very controlling, which can lead to problems in their relationship. People under the Scorpio sign also have a fear of failure. While nobody likes to fail, Scorpios take it to an extreme level. This keeps them up at night and leads to a lot of stress. An annoying habit that Scorpios have is being secretive, which is not good for their relationship either. They have a hard time opening up. At the same time, they're very loyal, but have unrealistic expectations of loyalty from their partners and friends. Number 9. Sagittarius, November 22nd to December 21st. A bad habit that people under this sign tend to have is gambling. It may start off as a harmless thing, but it can turn into an addiction. Sagittarians also tend to say things they don't really mean. They don't want to hurt you, but they say things without thinking of the consequences. They also have a hard time keeping promises as they don't like to be fenced in and forget about commitments they made. Another bad habit that Sagittarius people have is their tendency to overwork. They tend to work long hours in the office and burn out sooner than most people. They're also an impatient bunch and jump into things without a real plan of action. Number 10. Capricorn, December 22nd to January 19th. Capricorns can be very critical of themselves. They're also problem solvers and tend to be in their own head most of the time. This combination can cause more harm than good. Similar to Sagittarians, Capricorn people tend to spend long hours in the office. They're always making new goals and working towards them. As a result, they forget to have fun once in a while. An annoying habit people under the Capricorn sign have is always fearing the worst. They can be very negative about things in general. They also have an addiction to coffee, which is more or less the result of a busy work schedule. Number 11. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Aquarius people tend to focus too much on current events, so much so, it ends up putting them under stress. They stay online too long, trying to keep up with what's happening around the world. This tendency to be online can sometimes lead to a gaming addiction. Now, gaming isn't a bad habit in itself, but it should be kept to a limit. People under the Aquarius sign also tend to stay up too late. This could be for a number of reasons, but mostly because their brains are always engaged, either with their gaming addiction or with current events. They also tend to space out a lot. Number 12. Pisces, February 19th to March 20th. Pisces have a very big imagination and spend too much time daydreaming. This can end up feeding their own annoying habit, procrastination. If they don't want to do something, they end up putting it off as long as possible and daydreaming instead. They also have a bad habit of overspending, which can put them in unimaginable debt. They also tend to drink more than is acceptable. People under the Pisces sign also tend not to commit too much. Even if they do make a promise, they usually end up breaking it. Interested in learning more about zodiac signs? There are so many cool things your zodiac sign can tell you about yourself, as well as people you know. Let's keep the conversation going with a couple more zodiac-related videos, shall we? Here's what you need to know. Watch who the most dangerous zodiac signs are. You should also check which zodiac signs are likely to get rich. Go ahead and click one, or better yet, watch both and learn more about zodiac signs and astrology. Which sign are you? Can you relate to any of these bad habits? Let us know in the comments below.